You know, I was listening to the guy introduce me, and you all listened to all of my intro, but the moment he said Family Feud, Family Feud, the doggone room lit up. I was going, well, dog, come on, man. All them other credits I got books. I done a movie, I've been on TV for a long time. They ain't clapping for nothing but Family Feud. But I'm cool with that. Please keep clapping for Family Feud. Don't ever stop. Family Feud came about because an agent called me and said they wanted to fly me out to LA, talk to me about doing a show. And they didn't tell me which one it was because they didn't want word to get out that they were looking for a new host. So they brought me out to LA and they set me down. They finally told me it's Family Feud. So I said, I don't want to do it. They said, why not? I said, I don't want to be a game show host. You know, I got a stand-up career that I'm about to close out. I'm absolutely brilliant. You know, I had a lot of stuff in my head. I thought about me, you know, I was wonderful career. I'm going to finish out. I want to go to late night television. That's what I wanted to do. They gave this gig to Fallon, which I thought was just, God almighty, did they miss me on that one right there. How wrong was I, though? Fallon's a good friend of mine, and how good is his show, right? So I'm sitting up here thinking, I don't want to do this. And they sent me out and they showed me an old clip. I didn't like Family Feud after Richard Dawson left. I just didn't like it. I just didn't care for it. I didn't like the direction of the show. So they asked me, why won't I be a show? I said, I don't want to be a traffic cop. You know, I'm not going to, if you give an answer that I know is not on this board, why would I turn around and point, take my shirt all out my pants, disrupt my very sexy silhouette, and blow it, pointing at an answer that I ain't here, that's not up here. So I told them I didn't want to do it. So they said, what would you do? I said, I would make comments about the answer. They said, you can't do that. You cannot talk about a contestant in their answer. So I'm trying to figure out why not. Hell, I didn't say it, you know. If you give an ignorant answer, what that got to do with me? We all heard it was an ignorant answer, so why me pointing it out? Why am I the bad guy? I'm the heavy. So they told me it'll never work. So they got up and they did a test show, and they brought in an audience in 2 families. And they said, show me what you do. And I was just funny. And so a lady came back and said, we want to hire you, but we have to forewarn you. We do 200 shows a year. How are you going to be funny every single night? And I looked at her, I said, well, I can't do nothing else. You know, I can't hold no job, so all I got is these jokes. Trust and believe. If these jokes don't work, I'm gonna have to start selling stuff at my house. And so she said, but you can't, I'm gonna hire a writer for you. I'm gonna give you the questions beforehand so you can write your joke. I don't need that. I have a skill, I have a gift. I have a God-given gift. See, this thing called comedy, and I'm gonna talk to you about your gift in a minute, but this thing called comedy, man, is God-given. You can't go to school for it. That's part of the reason I flunked out of college. Because what I really wanted to be, they didn't offer. You know, what was really my gift is not offered at a college campus. My kids have often said to me, well, Dad, you didn't go to college, so why do we have to go? I said, well, it's simple, because you ain't got no jokes. You got to get a college education. You wasn't born with this skill set. So I talked to him, and finally I just said, I'm not doing Family Feud, because I just couldn't come to terms with him letting me do the show my way. And oh, by the way, when I started the show, it was a 1.6. 1.6 is a TV rating. That'll keep you on the air, but you're not making a lot of money. It was a 1.6. I told him I wasn't going to do the show, and I get up and I'm walking out, and I turned around to this ass lady. I said, how much does it pay? She said the dollar amount, and I signed the contract. It's just really that simple. Because it's a numbers game to me. You're going to pay me what? Yes, I love Family Feud. It's the greatest game show ever. And now it is the greatest game show ever. It's #1 in the country right now. So